A champion doesn't become a champion in the ring. The becoming happens during his daily routine. The practicing, the developing, the discipline that when applied consistently can get you to the next level.
When you live like this, when you get up early, when you go the extra mile, when you have painstaking attention to detail, when you live like this, when you devote yourself to your craft, when there's a sparkle in your eye to change the world and live your heroic potential, you'll be called a freak, an oddball, a misfit. But just remember this, if people don't misunderstand you, you're not playing at your personal genius.
Take your seed, take your gift. Get away from these people that's in your life that ain't doing nothing. Get away from people in your life that's hating. Get away from your family members that ain't ever opened a business. Get away from them. Don't die with this gift and don't never use it. All of y'all got this wonderful gift, but you gotta use it.
Where are the warriors that say, I'm gonna make a decision and I'm keeping it? And regardless of how you feel about it, it doesn't matter if the world is crumbling or down around you. Just do the thing every single day, whether you feel like it or not.
And we look at other people's success and we start creating all of these excuses as to why we're not successful like them. Whenever you live insecure, you will speak like a victim. And when you're a victim, you give away your power. Listen, I'm not trying to condemn you. I'm trying to confront you. Some of you tonight, you need to get sick and tired of living in this place. There is no person above you. When you're insecure, you're addicted to man's approval. Yet what you'll find with insecure people is the more that they get man's approval, the more they want it even more. And when they don't get man's approval, they become even more toxic.
Habits are the building blocks of our lives. It's what you can do every single day that matters more than anything. Devote yourself to something bigger. Be decisive about what you're going to do. Say, I'm going to do it, and that's it. And then be disciplined about getting it done every single day, whether you feel like it or not.
Don't base your value on what other people have said about you. Don't base your worth on how other people treated you. But you know, there's a lot of hurting people out in the world, and hurting people hurt people. It's just that when you're full of pain, then you end up just putting that pain off on everybody else.
You should go and live your dream. Just go see. Your real life is not in your current situation. Your real life is not in your paycheck. Your real life, he tucks it away in your imagination. Everything you imagine is a preview to a coming attraction. Once you understand that and quit looking at your imagination as hocus pocus, it opens up a wide range of things and possibilities. That simply means everything that's in your imagination is a preview of a coming attraction that God has for you. That's why when you tell your imagination to the wrong people, it don't go nowhere.
Letting it go so you can grow. Develop compassion for yourself despite your human defects. You will never be perfect. You will never be perfect. You're human. You've made a lot of mistakes. Guess what? You're not through yet. You're going to do some more. Hurry up and get it over with. You got to learn to be gentle with yourself. Make it all right. What you don't know, mistakes that you make. It's okay. Handle it. Learn from the experience. Decide that you are to be upfront, to be true to yourself. Are you getting what you need out of it?
Are the things that you're doing, the people that you're hanging out with, and the places and the circles that you're traveling in, does that reflect a person that actually loves themselves? You know that they don't like you. You know what they're saying about you behind your back. You know they're jealous and envious of who you are and the things that you got going on in your life and your career. And because you're so desperate to have people around you and in your life, you continue to go back.
A person who has purpose in their life, they have something to go for, some meaning. If you have a list of high purpose in your life, it pulls you toward the future. And the more powerful the purpose is, the stronger it pulls.
If you are looking to any human being to meet all your needs, you're going to be severely disappointed, because nobody can do that. Only God can meet all your needs. If you are looking to any human being to keep you happy, you're going to be unhappy most of your life. Human love runs out. Human people disappoint you. So you better put your happiness in somebody and something that cannot be taken from you. You need to look to God.
Because what was appropriate as a system is now inappropriate, because I have outgrown the way I speak, the way I understand, and the way that I think. I am bigger than the system. The system can't put me away. I must put it away.
This idea that we see other people above us, but when we look at ourselves, we're beneath, we're lower than. Nothing will hold you back more than insecurity. Insecurity kills more dreams than failure ever will. Some of you are like, I'm a failure. I don't have any dreams. You're lying to yourself. You didn't even try.
If you don't have these strong purposes for the future, it's easy to get swallowed by a bad day. So if you want something to pull you through all kinds of challenges, all kinds of difficulties, and things that come at you, you got to have something on out there, beyond today, that pulls you into the future. And the clearer it is, the stronger it pulls. The more dynamic it is, the more it affects your life, your spirit, your heart, your soul. And if you have good input, like good ideas, I'm telling you, there isn't anything you can't accomplish. That is purpose.
You can't base your value on what people give you. They'll say you're beautiful one day and I don't care for you the next. If you don't know who you are without them, then if they leave, you'll be lost. Your identity was caught up in who they made you to be. You'll try to find somebody else to tell you who you are. You don't need people to tell you who you are. People will let you down. People will get jealous. People have their own issues.
I'm going to stay on this lower level. When you do that and you reject God's opportunity, you are left with nothing but the hope of magic. Magic is when I'm believing that I'm going to get a blessing up here while I'm staying down here. You can't do it. It's like believing God that you're going to get pregnant and not gain weight. I don't want to throw up in the morning. No, all of that goes along with the process.
See, all of us have greatness within us. But when you don't come to grips with your greatness, I'm saying that you're positioning yourself to be a miserable person. How else do we do it? Procrastination. We just put things off over and over and over again. Why? Because we haven't accepted it. We don't feel deserving. So we sabotage ourselves by not ever taking care of business. We get real busy doing a lot of things where we don't have any time.
And if you will allow anyone, any voice on the inside to talk you out of this moment, you will forfeit it and be stuck washing your nets when there's a great drought of fish waiting you, if you have the courage to believe.
I become confident when I get the right view of other people and I get the right view of myself. It's amazing, right? You ever notice that arrogance requires advertising, but confidence speaks for itself? Insecurity, cynicism, and arrogance, they're all loud, but confidence doesn't even have to speak.
Where does self-confidence come from? Self-confidence really comes from feeling good about yourself. And one of the best ways to feel good about yourself is at the end of the day to know that you poured it on. You did your best. At the end of the day, when you've really poured it on and you've done all the stuff, self-confidence grows. That self-confidence affects your health, it affects your future, it affects your psyche. Self-confidence comes from the lack of neglect. Self-confidence means willingness to do whatever it takes to achieve. That starts to develop unbelievable self-confidence.
Let me say something to you that none of your haters will ever want you to know. You are much closer to your dream than you think you are. It could happen much sooner and much bigger than you think. And it is your ability to begin to believe and get real clarity of perception, of time, believe it's going to happen sooner, that will get you to act faster and be less distracted by the feedback or the weather that happens while you're on this run. It is much closer than you think it is. And it's your ability to begin to bring, not only get clear about what it is, but bring it closer.
The fortune belongs to you if you start early. All fortunes that are available to humans, if you start early, the promise looms large and the odds are heavy in your favor. Now, yes, it's possible to do some radical things starting late, but when you haven't got that much time left, now sometimes the decision has to be so drastic people are not willing to make it and they're too tired and too weary and too ill. But everyone here, we've got the time over the next 10 years. We've got the time the next 20 years to make some repair now in our errors of the past and set up some new disciplines. And I'm telling you, that's going to change everything. Self-confidence also comes from the ability to rise above your circumstances, to rise above what happens, the petty little things, the discouraging things that would sink everyone else's ship except yours. That kind of willingness to overcome all circumstances.
Why spend the rest of your life being miserable, frustrated, and insecure, and not really feeling as good as you have a responsibility to feel? Feeling good isn't just an opportunity. Feeling good is a responsibility that we all have for ourselves. I don't remember the last time I lost sleep over a hater and the things that people are running around saying. Why? Because I know exactly how I feel about me.
These haters out there, they exist, believe me. I have them all over the place. I've had them all my life. Some of the haters in your life are the best at trying to pretend to be concerned, aren't they? They're pretending to give you feedback only to lead you in the wrong direction so you lose. And so the real haters know how to pose as critic. And so it's your ability to distinguish between these two people that's going to have everything to do with whether you succeed. Keeping the haters in your life around you and letting their feedback and criticism affect you in a negative way could steal your dream. And they are dream stealers every single time.
I know what's happening. I know who I am. I know what my intentions are. I know my heart. And more importantly, God knows my heart. So for it to appear to be this, appear to be that, and then you running around saying whatever you're saying about me, that's fine. You have a job to do. You're bored. You have nothing going on in your life, so you're focused on my life.
Confidence has to do with inspiring trust, which you can only do by having faith in other people. Confidence enables you to walk into a room full of strangers and converse with anyone without fear. It makes the strangers in that room think, here is someone I not only can talk to, here's someone I want to talk to. An ill-at-ease person makes everyone around him ill-at-ease. Feeling right makes others feel right, and they in turn give back what's inside them, the very confidence that you give out.
Because when you can start saying yes to loving yourself, you start to realize just how far you're able to go. And I wish people knew that the ability to succeed, it's all inside of you. And I hope and pray that for all of you, at some time in your life, you'll realize that the best version of yourself is so beautiful and so amazing. And yes, people may not accept you all the time and they may hurt you, but I don't want you to keep that in, because you were meant to be a certain type of person, and there's somebody out there in this world who needs to see you for who you are.
I don't care how pretty you look on the outside. I don't care how much you dress it up. I don't care what kind of makeup you put on it. Insecurity on the inside is one of the ugliest traits that you could ever walk out. It's just not who you're called to be. There's so much more in store for you.
well, I'm going to be selfish and take care of myself more, which I haven't for a decade.
I'm going to tell you what, you owe it to yourself, everybody,
Right.
whether you've been wounded or not,
Right.
wherever you are in life, because the fact of what you just said, you got to remember this. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of the other people around you.
Right.
It's confidence that makes people want to believe what you say to them, want to accept you as you present yourself. So confidence is not some little thing. It's a powerful force that can grow in power and flourish.
If you don't care at all about pleasing other people, if you're only living for yourself, you're a narcissist. So there's nothing wrong with wanting the approval of other people. But like all of God's good gifts, what is a good thing in your life, a legitimate need, can be misused. You have a need for food in your life, it can be misused. Everybody agree with that? Everything that God gave us as gifts actually can be misused if we don't handle it correctly.
How do I learn to believe in myself so that others will believe in me too? A truly confident person's belief in himself is strong enough so that he's able to believe in others. Conversely, distrust in yourself breeds distrust in everyone you meet. A confident person gives you confidence. She creates confidence in others. The strength of her character makes you a stronger character.
If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. If somebody who had come from the bottom and got to this position I'm in told me that this is the way I would try, if I was you, I would try that. I bet you it'll work, though.
Credit goes to our awesome patrons who make videos like this one possible. Consider joining them to support our work. You can also support us by subscribing to our channel and clicking the bell button to get notified when our new videos are released. And as always, thank you for watching.
First year when I started really radically changing my life, I'm working around the clock day and night. I was skinny anyway. In high school, I turned sideways. They called me absent. I'm skinny. Tried to play football, almost got killed. Settled for basketball, less violent sports, but I've been skinny all my life. But that first year, I'm thin anyway. I lost some more weight. I'm a walking shadow. I was so caught up in changing my life. My income multiplied by 2 and then multiplied by 5 and everything's happening. But I almost lost my health over it. Suddenly one day it dawned on me, what if I got rich and too ill to spend it? Wouldn't that be foolish? And I thought, okay, let's talk about setting goals. When I first met Earl Schoaf, not long after we had met each other, he asked me, Mr. Rohn, maybe here's one of the best ways I can help you. He said, let me see your current list of goals and let's go over them and talk about them. He said, I've got the experience. And he said, let's do it. And I said to him, I don't have a list. He said, wow, you don't have a list of your goals? I said, no. He said, well, if you don't have a list of your goals, he said, I can guess your bank balance within a few $100s, which he did. And I thought, isn't that something? Then I said to him, you mean if I had a list of goals, it would change my bank balance? He said, drastically. So that got my attention. And all those years ago, I learned how to set goals. Now let's make these notes now on setting goals. The promise of the future is an awesome force. We look back for experience, but we have to look forward now for inspiration. And what gives us inspiration to get up in the morning and do our job, learn skills, develop all that we can possibly be, is the promise of the future. And it can be so powerful that it can overwhelm any adversary you might have, any difficulties you might have. Here's a key phrase: reasons make the difference in how your life works out. Reasons make the difference in your appetite and zest for taking on the challenge, doing the job, becoming successful. Mr. Schoaf said, if you have enough reasons, you can do the most incredible things. You can get through the most difficult day. You can overcome the most unbelievable challenges if you have enough reasons. And so he said to me, if you haven't got a list of your goals, Mr. Rohn, it's probably because you don't have enough reasons. He said, I'm sure since I've met you, you have enough intelligence, and he said, you have enough good health, and he said, you have all of those things working for you, but here's what you must work on now is to have enough reasons. Looking into the future, developing reasons. So now make these notes. We're primarily affected by 5 things. Number 1 is the environment, the political environment, the social environment, the physical environment. Whatever surrounds us affects us. The city, the country, the countryside, the village, the office, the people. We're constantly affected and shaped by our reaction and decision making. A lot of it depends on the environment. And for the physical environment, we all need to pay attention to that. Make every contribution you can. It's one little small planet. Remember those first pictures from space? Looking back on Earth? It looked so fragile. It looked so small. We thought, wow, so many people live there. How can that be? We must take care of it. Right now, it's the only planet we got. Do everything we can. First, we're affected by the environment. Next, we're affected by events. Some events affect us all. Some affect the world regionally, nationally, or by the state, or by the community. But some events affect us all. Now, here's the next one. We're affected by what we know. What you know, what you don't know. The accumulation of knowledge or the lack of knowledge affects your dreams, affects your future, affects your income, affects your bank account, affects your associations, affects everything. You've got to really be a student, study, so you can learn how to make wise decisions that'll give you the best chance to build for the future. Okay, here's what's next. We're affected by results. Whatever your current economic results, whatever projects you've launched, the results up until now, that affects you. The results you've had in the past, up until now, that's affected you. Now here's number 5. We're affected by our dreams. Our dreams meaning our view of the future for ourselves. Now here's a note to make. It's important to make sure that the greatest pull on your life is the pull of the future. Some people let the past pull them back. The past can be like gravity if you let it to pull you back. Not just to think about it to get advice from mistakes to carry on for the future. But some people live in the past. They live in the darkness of the past. They live in the mistakes of the past. They live in the discouragement of the past. They didn't make it, and that affects them for the rest of their life, living in the past. So we don't want the past to pull us back to live in the past and all other kinds of things that affect us. It's going to affect us to some extent, but not to the extent that we should be affected by the future. So make this note. Dreams and goals can become magnets. Dreams and goals can become magnets. And the stronger the goal, the higher the purpose, the more powerful the objective, the stronger this magnet is that pulls you that direction.
Somebody said, man, you're 59 years old. They said, you're 59 years old. How you gonna do your radio show and ride this bike and treadmill for 4 hours? I don't know. I do not know. They said, man, that's impossible. Have you ever done that for 4 hours in a row? I said, no. They said, well, how you gonna do it? I said, I'm gonna use some faith. They said, what you mean, man? That's hard. I got it hard. But faith don't make it easy. Faith make it possible. You know what I did? I tried to raise $1 million for my mentoring camp. I got on that bike, that treadmill, elliptical for 4 hours every day for a whole month. Didn't miss a day. Only got off a bathroom break. All I wanted was $1 million, but here come God with his grace again. He be killing me with his grace. I tried to raise $1 million. You know how much we raised? $1.8 million. Listen to this. Your greatness is in your imagination. Don't get this degree and forget about your imagination. I'm going to teach you something now. It's about faith. The scripture said faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Okay, you've all heard it. I heard it around the room. Faith is substance things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Boy, when they said that in my mama's church, everybody in the building stood up and started clapping. I did too. But can I be real? I ain't even know what that meant. I got to get that Bible with about the 4 different translations in it, because the King James, thither thou, henceforth, furthermore, I'm out. Man, my reading comprehension ain't ever been good. I went to high school, and I hit 695 in my graduating class. I graduated 690. I gave them 5 people hell every time I saw them, too. I didn't get that Bible verse until one day I was reading a book. And in this book, there was a quote by Albert Einstein. And he paraphrased that scripture. You know what I'm saying? He took it and put it in regular English where a dude like me could get it. He said, imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attraction. You gotta get this now. Imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attraction. Man, do you know what that means? This was good news for me. I needed to hear this, because you know what that meant? That meant everything you ever imagined is real.
But it's not only real, it was God showing you a preview of a coming attraction that he has for you. Oh man, trip me out now. Trip me out. Man, I almost start crying. Do you know how bad I needed that information? See, you've been thinking that your imagination is that it's just some thoughts, them random thoughts. But let me trip you out though. Have you ever tripped on this before? Do you know that it is impossible for you to think an impossible thought? That is impossible. You ain't that smart. So how did that imagination get in your head? You want me to tell you? It was God. God put it there. He put it there to show you a preview of a coming attraction he has for you. This whole time you've been imagining stuff. It was God been showing you something he got for you. Your problem is though, you tell your imagination to the wrong people. See, if you want to kill your big dreams, tell it to a small-minded person. Yeah, see, listen to me. This what it's about now. See, quit telling everything to everybody. See, you go up and you tell it to your friends and your so-called loved ones. And because you think they care about you, you know how many of y'all that had a really wonderful life? Something God showed you, a business, a transfer, an opportunity, more education, more training, and man, this can change your world. You know how many of y'all that had this wonderful idea and you went in there and took it to that so-called friend and loved one and they shot it down, and because you thought they loved you, you thought they had your best interests at heart, so you believed them. Man, they was wrong. They was wrong. If God had wanted it in their head, he'd have put it in their head. He put your imagination in your head. Don't let this degree mess up your imagination. Your greatness is in your imagination. Now let me tell you how this works. Everything you have in here today, everything you are, is simply because you imagined it and you believed. You said you got a college degree. You're getting a degree today because you imagined it. But guess what? You believed it. Guess what? You're getting a degree today. You see how this works? Let's make it real simple. How about that hairstyle on your head? How you think it got up there? See, everybody's hairstyle in here different. It's the one you imagine would look good on your head. You believed it, that's the one you got. That car you drive, anybody make you buy that car? There was a whole lot of cars on that lot. You went in there, you imagined yourself driving off the lot in that car. If you'd imagined the Rolls Royce, he'd have probably gave you that one. But no, you wanted the Prius. So now, you're driving off the lot in the Prius.
First time ever in a comedy club. I won $50. I only went on a dare. I cried all the way from the comedy club to my house. The girl I was with named Gladys Jacobs said, "Why you crying? It ain't but $50. I said, no, you don't understand. I was born tonight. Well, I've been asking God my whole life, what's my purpose? I need to find something that I do. I won $50, first time in a comedy club. I went to work the next day, October 9th, and quit my job with $50 in my pocket. Married, twins, $50. My ex-wife said, you can't do that. That's foolishness. Her mother told me, you're not even funny. My mother told me, boy, you don't do stuff like that. You work like your daddy and your brothers. I said, no, Mama, this is what I was born to do. And my mother was saved and, Sunday school teacher, so I believed everything my mama told me. But this one time I said, Mama, I got to go try this. I said, this is it for me. I said, if I don't do this, what I'm gonna do? She said, you're gonna work like your daddy did. Your daddy worked hard. I said, okay, well, I just work hard, but I'm gonna go be something. The only person in my family that believed in me was my father. He said, boy, if you think you can make it, go ahead. If you need some help, I'll give you 100 every now and then. And I've done nothing since that day except tell jokes. Now, I got in a lot of trouble. By the time I was 30, I was homeless. Because the first year in comedy, I only made $3,500. The next year, I made $5,000. The third year in comedy, I made $6,800. You get homeless real fast. So I was trying to make my little money and send it to my wife and kids, but it wasn't enough. So I would just keep $25, enough to stay out there and get to the next gig. And it didn't work for me for 3 years. I lived in my car. You have to take chances in life. If you want your life to be something special, you eventually have to take a chance. You can't do normal things and expect extraordinary results. It doesn't work that way. You have to take an exceptional chance one time. And it's gonna cost you something that you care deeply about. Bishop Jakes told me one time, he said, in order to get to the next level in life, you can see where you wanna go, but it's a glass ceiling. The reason you can see it is because it's a glass ceiling. In order to break through a glass ceiling, you're gonna have to shatter the glass. Anytime you shatter the glass, it's gonna be blood shed. And the blood that you shed is gonna be something that you care deeply about. So if you are not willing to shed something you care deeply about, you cannot go to the next level. Most people let their family keep them from going to the next level. Some people, your friends. Some people, it's your job, your position keeps you from going to the next level. But if you go to work every day and you ain't happy, if you don't wake up overjoyed to go to work, that ain't no life, man. You got the wrong job. You know why you got the wrong job? Because you ain't living in your gift. You only find peace and happiness when you live in your gift, the thing God created you to be. If you don't ever do what God created you to be, man, you'll never be content. You'll be miserable. All the time I was miserable. For 27 years, misery. Couldn't figure it out until I won that money. I won $50. Just 50. It changed my whole life. I made a lot more since that 50. But guess what? I still tell jokes. So all these is jokes. If I don't be nothing else, I'm gonna be funny. That's the deal, ain't it? If you hire me, you're gonna get these jokes. Because that's my gift. I'm what you want me to do. They hired me to speak at this insurance company one time. All these big wigs sitting there now. So I started telling jokes. The audience was dying laughing. This guy came up to me and said, I hired you as a motivational speaker. I said, that's what I do. Well, what's the laughing for? I said, because it holds people's attention. I said, go ask everybody what they got out of my message today. It ain't gonna be the jokes. It's gonna be something I told them. But you got people that they don't want to hear that, but that's my gift. And if you live in your gift, you'll find your completeness. Until you live in your gift, you cannot be complete. When God created you, he gave you all a gift. All of you in here are gifted. You are gifted people. What is your gift? Your gift is the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. Once you identify that, your life changes. God takes you to new heights. You find peace, you find joy. You wake up in the morning, you can't wait to go to work. If you waking up in the morning and you hate going to work, it's because you ain't living in your gift. I don't even have an alarm.
I wake up every day ready to go to work, because guess what? I'm going to go tell these jokes. They're going to give me this check. Look what I'm doing. Look, that is available to you, though. That God that created you has that same thing available to you. Every last one of you. I bet he do. I dare you to try it. I dare you.
What I'd like for you to do right now, I want you to think about your dream. Think about your dream right now. I want you to think about it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me share something with you. I do not believe that any of us have dreams that were not given to us for the purpose of accomplishing those particular dreams. I started out, as was indicated, very humble beginnings. I don't know what that dream is that you have. I don't care how far-fetched it might appear to be. I don't care how disappointing it might have been as you've been working toward that dream. That dream that you're holding in your mind, that it's possible. See, sometimes we can't say, I can do that. But what we can say, that I can have my dream. As we work on it day in and day out, no one, ladies and gentlemen, could have convinced me when I started out working on my dream, and I want you to think about whatever your dream is. I was willing to take a chance, and most people won't do that. Most of the people that you talk to, these are not risk takers. Most people have done all that they're ever going to do. They raise a family, they earn a living, and then they die. But people who are running toward their dreams, life has a special kind of meaning. That in the process of working on your dreams, you are going to incur a lot of disappointment, a lot of failure, a lot of pain, a lot of defeats. But in the process of doing that, you will discover some things about yourself that you don't know right now. That you have greatness within you. That you're more powerful than you can ever begin to imagine. That you are greater than your circumstances. That you don't have to go through life being a victim. I was born in Miami, Florida, in an area in an abandoned building on a hard linoleum floor with my twin brother. We were adopted. When I was in 5th grade, I was identified as EMR, labeled educable, mentally retarded, and stayed in that category until I got out of high school. But I met a high school teacher who one day changed my life. I was waiting on another student. When he came in, he said to me, young man, go to the board and write what I'm about to tell you. And I said, I can't do that, sir. He said, why not? I'm not one of your students. He said, it doesn't matter. Follow my directions. I said, I can't do that, sir, because I'm educable, mentally retarded. And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality.
I just make mine so simple that it really doesn't have those complications. If on your goal list is a ranch in Montana, and you say, well, if I worked hard and maybe it's my second year of following an entrepreneurial project and I'm doing fairly well, I think maybe I could accomplish that in 5 years. Sure enough, if good things happen, it's down to 3. If it takes me a little longer, maybe that's off in 10. But I just leave it on my list, not to make it an obsession. And then maybe the more I think about it, say, no, not a farm in Montana. You know, an apartment in New York on Park Avenue. I think I'll change to that. I think that makes it easier. Let that inspire you. If goals inspire you to higher achievement of things and occasions and places you want to go and things you want to see and people you want to meet, if only a little of it comes true, but all of it served as inspiration along the way to do better and work harder, and say maybe some of these goals will be closer than I thought now, it looks exciting. All of that serves you well. Who cares how close you got? Who cares if you set 200 goals and only got 10? It doesn't really matter. And I think if you make it that easy on yourself, tear up the list if you want to, start over. I've gotten some better information now. I'm not going to go for that. How about something else? I think that's the key. I make it easy. Make a list of what you want. Start checking off the things that are easy to get on your list. A lot of little things that you start checking off. And then let the rest of it all unfold. But you might as well dream about, having an upstairs maid and a downstairs maid. If you happen to visit a rich man's home and say, wow, that's the life for me, I'm going to put that on my list. The guy's got a limousine and a driver. You say, wow, someday that's for me. And then later you say, no, this limousine and driver deal, that's not for me. But let it inspire you in the meantime. Why not? Even if you change your mind, threw that out, put in something else. One of my friends brought me on his Learjet the other day from San Jose to Van Nuys, close to my home. I thought, wow, it'd be nice to have a jet like this. But I think it only seats 4 people or 5. It's really small. Then he's got an 8-passenger helicopter. Pilot and a co-pilot and 6 passengers. It's the latest state-of-the-art, fine machine. Then I thought I'd like to live in a mansion and have all this stuff. But then I go visit someone who's got the mansion and the security and the servants and the groundskeepers, and this whole house is just almost like chaos. And you have a cup of coffee and you drink it and you can't even set your own coffee cup down. Somebody comes and takes it away. And I say, with my temperament and style, this is really not for me. I've got to live a little more simple life. But for someone else, a house full of servants and groundskeepers and security and the whole entourage, that's for them. But if they wanted it and later changed their mind to live a little more serene life, then that's okay too. Did you ever get that mansion on the hill with all those servants that, yeah, I went for that for a while, but you know, the more I went to some places where people lived like that, the more I thought, no, this is really not for me. Having my fishing line in a tranquil stream in Montana, I think now suits my style a little better. I did a seminar in each city in 13 cities a month. I had the elaborate entourage. It was unbelievable. One day I decided, someday I shall have no office, I shall have no secretary, I shall be free. Sure enough, that day finally arrived. People ask me now, what is your email address? And I say, I do not have one. I do have a website that someone else runs, but I have really simplified my life. A company that I do a lot of business with around the world asked me, do you want an office? I said, no. I said, do you want a secretary? I said, no. Then I did say once, yes, I'm going to have this satellite and put a fax machine in my motorhome so that I can be in touch but out of reach. I want somebody to say, yes, you can contact him, but you can't find him for a while. He's not gone forever, but he's gone for a while. So I do seek solitude, you know, chances to get away. My farm in Idaho, overlooking Snake River, is a great place to get away and deal in agriculture and build a few homes. Little change of pace from flying all around the world. It's exciting for me. But for now, right, I have no office and no secretary and no email address, and so I managed to escape most of it. And I think you just have to really make the hard and fast decisions. I did a speech one time, and the title of my speech was, Today I Am a Wealthy Man. Didn't have much to do with money. But here's what I said. I want you to jot these notes down. Here was number one. I said, I'm wealthy because of my heritage, my parents, my grandparents. My grandmother studied nutrition, passed it on to my mother. Back in those days when my mother studied and practiced nutrition, she was called like a health nut, right? Do you go back that far, right? Your parents or grandparents? They were called health nuts. They were studying vitamins and they were studying this. Mama used to mix up some of this stuff for me and Papa and said, if this don't kill us, I think it'll help. And we're, gagging this stuff down. My mother, with the practice and study of better nutrition, extended her life at least, the doctor said, at least 20 years. Said if your mother hadn't have done that, she wouldn't have lived that extra 20 years. He said when your mother died, the walls of her heart were paper thin. He said how she lived this last 20 years is incomprehensible. And then I told him, Mama used to do all the juices, had the distiller to distill the water, all the stuff that was considered kind of kooky, right? Back in the 40s and the 50s and 60s. Herbs and twigs, something to smoke. But Mama did all that stuff, extended her life over 20 years. My father lived to be 93, never had a major illness. I've never had one. Passed it on to my children, my grandchildren. Unbelievable. My heritage, what's that worth? It's worth a fortune. So you got to contemplate every once in a while your blessings, and part of your blessing is your heritage. Next is the heritage of your country. We that come from the free country, engaging in enterprise to start with $1 and make a fortune, become a millionaire. What value is that heritage? It's unbelievable. We enjoy the benefit of courts we didn't start. We enjoy the benefit of laws we didn't create. We enjoy the benefit of learning institutions we didn't found. We enjoy the benefit of medicine we didn't discover. Wow, heritage. Next, I said, I'm a wealthy man because of my experiences. Experience makes you rich. Here's what you must treat your experiences as: commodity. You must treat your experiences as high value. You must treat your experiences as capital so that you can invest in the future what you've learned in the past. My experiences now have taken me around the world. A birthday celebration last year, right, in 16 cities. It was one of the most unbelievable experiences of my life. A group got together in Italy and gave me a helicopter tour of Sorrento, Naples, Vesuvius, the Isle of Capri, Pompeii from the air. Unbelievable experience.
God is not going to let the opposition delay you from your destiny. He has already scheduled your destiny moments. It may feel like you're falling behind. The opposition is holding you back. Stay encouraged. At the right time, that adversity is going to hurry out of your way. Red seas can't keep you from your purpose. God knows how to part those waters. Legal situations, companies that seem bigger, stronger, they can't stop God's plan for your life. It may feel like you're stuck. You don't see anything improving. Don't worry. God knows how to do a quick work. It can happen suddenly.